What's up, duelists? RBET Series 1 signups are now live. Make sure after this video to join the Discord in the description and play in the tournament. It's super easy to sign up. All you do is type !join. A bot will message you, ask you for your deck list, and then you'll send them the deck list. If your deck list is legal, you're signed up. That's all there is to it. You wait for tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, you're good to go. Signups close 30 minutes before the tournament starts. So signups close at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you're signed up before then, otherwise you're not going to make the cutoff. Today's video is going to be a lot dealing with that tournament. I'm going to say a few of my predictions for what I expect to see tomorrow and talk about a few cards that I think are well positioned in the metagame or what people are playing. Make sure you guys are subscribed, leave a comment with your predictions below. I'd love to hear them. I know you guys have been playing a lot of Edison format. You guys are super high on certain decks, super low on certain decks. Let me know what you guys expect to see more of tomorrow. First things first, Blackwings. Blackwings we're going to see tomorrow. It doesn't matter if Blackwings is the worst deck in the format. We're going to see it tomorrow. People are going to play it. It's going to probably be the most played deck. Either Blackwings or Heroes. I'm thinking these are probably the two most played decks. If you lump Hero Beat and Diva Hero, it might be the most, but I think if you split the two, it'll be, less, obviously. Less for each, but I expect to see a lot of Heroes tomorrow. The deck's really good. Absolute Zero is just really good. And kind of the question on everyone's mind is, how do I answer Absolute Zero? How do I deal with that? A lot of other decks that I expect to see, I think we're definitely going to see Gladiator Beasts, Dragons, and Frogs. These decks are all great, as well as Vayu. I think we're going to see these four decks. They'll probably be the next four represented decks, realistically speaking. A few decks that I think maybe in the past few events could have been the most represented decks, like Lightsworn and Fairies. I don't think they are as well positioned right now, given the certain climate, and given that they're going to catch a lot of flack. They're going to catch a lot of sideboard hate that's intended to be directed towards the Absolute Zero deck, but also kind of doubles as hate towards these two decks. One of the decks that I think we might see more of tomorrow, because I think it does pretty well against these top 6 decks, is Gadgets, Machina Gadgets with Solidarity. I think this deck does a pretty good job against Heroes and Blackwings, as well as Glads. So because it's great against the top 3 decks here, I think that we might see some players try and metagame this event with Machina Gadgets. And I think Ancient Gear also does a pretty good job. I think Ancient Gear has a good value matchup, and it has a good matchup against probably Glads, and I don't know. It's just a hyper aggressive deck. Machina Fortress is hard to deal with for some decks, so. I also think with the popularity of the Ancient Gear deck, we're not going to be seeing too much X-Saber or Quick Draw. I also think that X-Saber and Quick Draw have a pretty uphill battle to fight if they're going to succeed in this metagame. They don't really super do well against Glads and Blackwings, which are two of the most popular decks. And I also don't really think Quick Draw does super well against the Diva Frog deck. But it's kind of up in the air, a little up in the air. X-Sabers is interesting because it can cheese, but some of the metagame choices, which I'll get into in a second, might give it some trouble. Another deck that I think might do well is Zombies. I think it's well positioned against these top 6 decks. I think it does pretty well against them, and I think it also does pretty good against Gadgets. So Zombies, I think, is really well positioned for this tournament, provided it dodges a few things and doesn't brick. I think the biggest issue with Zombies is you want to play a lot of recruiters, you want to play a lot of powerful cards. Finding the right ratios, finding the right build to approach the metagame is super important. Today's match that I'm going to be playing to kind of show things off is going to be Zombies versus Heroes. So I'll show you guys some of my takes on how I think Zombies will be played in this metagame, or some effective choices perhaps. I think Fish and Gravekeepers are both decks that could very easily spike this tournament. Gravekeepers does really well against Heroes, and I think it also does pretty well against Blackwings. I think Gravekeeper struggles a little bit against Gladiator Beast, and it can struggle with Frogs and Dragons, depending on the build and depending on the draws. I think Gravekeepers is a very high variance deck. If you don't draw Royal Tribute at the right time, then it's really awkward. You have a lot of these cards where it's if you don't draw them at the right moment, then they don't do anything. So I think it's kind of you need the right draws, you need the right sort of positioning for the deck to do well. But I think if the deck is going to do well, this is the meta game where it's going to do well. It also gets access to Deck Devastation Virus, which I think is going to be a huge contender in tomorrow's tournament. The Deck Devastation Virus is a little bit of the reason why I think that Quick Draw, X-Sabers, and Fairies aren't going to do that hot. The Blackwing decks have been playing it, 2 or 3 of them. And the Vayu decks have been playing it. I've even seen it in some Dragon lists. I've even seen it in some Hero lists, which is crazy because they have Diva and Decataster, which is a live deck devastation. They also have Caius. They have a lot of other ways to activate it. So I think that we're probably going to see a good amount of Deck Devastation Virus tomorrow. I think Deck Devastation Virus, while it does get played in Gravekeepers, is also very good against Gravekeepers. So I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough to say. The Fish deck, similarly, I think it needs a little bit of bracket luck. I think the Fish deck does pretty well against dragons and frogs, and I think it does pretty well against like maybe the Absolute Zero decks. I think it does all right there. If it's Hero Beat where they have Floodgate plus Dark Bribes, I think the Fish deck will struggle. Like for sure. Like something like Skill Drain plus Dark Bribe is just going to be really hard for the Fish deck to beat. But also if it's more the Diva hero where they have less trap cards, less ways to really interact with the Coelacanth strategy, and provided the Fish deck draws well and doesn't brick, I think we could see it do well in some brackets. Again, Fish deck does struggle a little bit with Deck Devastation Virus, and so does the Zombie deck to a degree, so I think that these may or may not see some play, see some success, but they are metagame approaches that I think might do well. One thing I'm a little unsure of is Volcanics. I don't really know how well Volcanics are going to do tomorrow. I can't really get a good read on this. Well, I think the deck has inherently a really good engine built into it between the shells and the Blaze Accelerators and the Pot of Avarices. Like, I think that that's all a really solid engine and a solid foundation. I think it's slow as shit. Against a lot of these other decks, they can just deal like 6,000 damage, and if you've activated Shell like 3 or 4 times, all of a sudden you're just dead. I don't really like how the deck doesn't get to use its battle phase effectively. I think that it makes it a very slow and like grind-oriented deck, and I'm not sure that against good players this is going to be enough to really cut it, because good players can just wait to summon their monsters or just commit like smaller monsters and get in some chip points and then just OTK you later on. I also think this deck doesn't do fairly well against Gadgets or Machina, so it's something to note for sure. But it could do all right. I think given the right build, if you have enough defense, make sure you don't get OTK'd, and you're able to like not brick, draw multiple shells, draw multiple rockets and your Blaze Accelerator or whatever, then it could do all right. Some of the sideboard and like mainboard cards I expect to see a lot of are Royal Oppression, Snowman Eater, and DD Crow, Fossil Dyna. I mean, we saw Fossil Dyna have a lot of success in the last Edison tournament. It was in the main deck of 2 of the decks out of the top 4. So decks trying to be too cute, too special summony, like you got to be careful of Fossil Dyna. This card is something that's got to be on your radar. And Fossil Dyna ensures that these aggressive decks can just go for a game through Gores, through Fader, through Trag. And it also helps establish board. So if you overcommit and your opponent sets a Fossil Dyna, you're going to look like a fool. Definitely a card to be careful of in this tournament. DD Crow, I don't think we'll see too much main deck DD Crow, but I think we will for sure be seeing it in the sideboard. It's a good way to deal with Miracle Fusions, a good way to deal with like Treeborn Frog, Vayu stuff. It's a good way to deal with like Book of Life. You know, it's great against Lightsworn, of course, too, and the Debris Dragon decks. It's definitely going to see a lot of play. I think we're going to see a lot of Royal Oppression. I think Hero Beat and Blackwings, Dragons, Vayu, Gadgets, you know, even zombies can play it. So I think, yeah, even Glads could play it. Like, realistically, they probably shouldn't, but they could. And it wouldn't be, like, the worst thing in the world. I mean, it'd be a huge mirror breaker. So I think we're going to see a lot of Royal Oppression. So definitely be prepared for that. And I think one of the responses to that is probably going to be more copies of Dust Tornado. And we're definitely going to see a lot more Dust Tornado, maybe even 3 copies of Dust Tornado plus, like, whatever in the sideboards of decks. Just being able to answer Floodgates that are backed up by Starlight Road is going to be super huge. The metagame right now is kind of like, I'm playing my aggro deck. Post board, I'm going to have the perfect Floodgate for you, and I'm going to have Starlight Road. You can't use your sweepers because I have Starlight Road, and you can't use your, you know, like back row clears because I have Starlight Road. So it's like no Torrential, no Mirror Force. The stuff that normally like shuts off big aggressive pushes is going to get totally, you know, cock blocked by Starlight Road. So I think we're going to see a natural like shift to more spot removal, more stuff like Smashing Ground and Dust Tornado to sort of combat the aggro strategies. A few of the cards that I don't think we're going to see a lot of this weekend are Noblemen of Crossout and Deep Prison. I think Deep Prison, it's kind of shifted out of favor. It's a really awkward card to have against the Ancient Gear deck or against Gadgets. And against Blackwings, like, it's a little slow. It doesn't stop the monster from being summoned and getting the Black Whirlwind Search. I do think Deep Prison's pretty good against Dragons, specifically. And I think it's alright against Fish, too. One of the openers from Fish that they have is, like, they'll have the Unifrog to try and, like, clear your back row. And if you just deprison off the Unifrog and then you have Starlight Road or Dark Bribe plus a Floodgate, like the fish deck can't win. So deprison's a good way to sort of counter that sort of strategy, the Unifrog poke strategy. I also think deprison is pretty good against zombies, but it doesn't prevent them when they do go for the Bionic push. So I don't know. It's one of those cards where it's like, I think it's a little bit sort of out of favor in the metagame right now, especially because of the Ancient Gear deck, but also for a few other reasons. And Nobleman of Crossout, like you'll notice up here, like one of these decks plays Raikou, and that's Vayu, and that's their only like set monster. Are you really going to be siding in Nobleman of Crossout like for one matchup where like they might even be siding out their Raikous against you? Like that's something you just got to think about. Like Nobleman of Crossout, I think is progressively becoming more and more narrow, especially because decks are just, and players in general are just getting better at playing against set Raikou or set Hamster. Another card I expect to see a lot of is Dimensional Fissure. I think the Gadget decks and the Glad decks will be playing this moving forward. It's very good against everything, so definitely something to be careful of. And I think Dimensional Fissure in the main deck, as well as stuff like Banisher, Macrocosmos in the side deck, is another reason why I don't think Judgment Dragon decks, Christia decks, and like X-Saber decks are going to be super poppin' this weekend. I mean, you never know. You never know. My pick to win the tournament, I actually think that... this is crazy. I think Absolute Zero is going to win the tournament. I think Diva Hero is going to win the tournament. I think it's going to be a close finals between Diva Hero and a deck that's metagamed against it. But I do think that Diva Hero will end up taking it. It's just too versatile of a deck. Potentially we'll see zombies in the top 4. That's another prediction. I'll throw that one out there, you know. Might be an airball, but I expect to see zombies do well. Let's go ahead and get into the match. I'll show you guys the deck list. It's a zombie deck list that I built to sort of combat this sort of metagame prediction that I have with a few fun cards. The theory behind this list is to be a little bit more resilient to stuff like Royal Oppression, while being able to steal like huge monsters or beaters that the aggro decks are trying to throw at you with Creature Swap. I think Creature Swap plus Recruiter is a pretty good way of sort of being an annoying person, being an annoying little, oh, here's my +1 with huge tempo against decks that are like trying to summon Alias or trying to summon Absolute Zero. Creature Swap's also a way to remove Absolute Zero that doesn't activate its effect, which is very nice. Note that some of these monsters don't necessarily get value if you Creature Swap them, notably Dimensional Alchemist and Card Trooper. You have to control these cards when they leave the field, but I still think that cards like Card Trooper and Dimensional Alchemist are worth including. Dimensional Alchemist gives you a cool way to kind of loop your Mizuki and your Plague, and I think it's a little bit more proactive than playing something like Burial from the Different Dimension. Dimensional Alchemist, when you draw it, is live. It's a beater, right? It's an 1800 beater. It helps you churn through your deck, and it floats. It replaces itself, which I think is pretty cool. Dimensional Alchemist is also pretty good against decks that are starting with Stratos. If a deck starts Stratos, or it starts Laquari, you can summon Dimensional Alchemist, activate the effect, right? Banish the top card of the deck, crash with their monster, and then get your monster back and go +1 up early on. Of course, you do spend your normal summon to do this, but I think this card it's a little bit more proactive than Burial from the Different Dimension, and it serves a similar role in the zombie deck specifically, because the zombie deck really only has Mizuki and Plague that you're trying to return with Burial, which turns Burial into like this kind of like not so great Book of Life, I guess. There's a few other fun plays, like with Dimensional Alchemist, you can return a Malicious to your hand, then stack that Malicious for Plague and banish the second Malicious, so you can get multiple uses out of Malicious with this deck. And in post-board games with Zombie World, you can create a loop with Dimensional Alchemist and Mizuki, where you infinitely wall out some strategies. This can be a really annoying like loop for decks like Hero Beat to deal with, because this loop doesn't take the activation of effects, so they can't like skill drain to stop this loop, and they have to like spend resources to try and get rid of it. And there's a few fun of cards in this deck which for sure probably shouldn't be in it, like Injection Fairy Lily, Exile Force, Red Eye Zombie Dragon. But I think definitely having one beater that you can get off of Pyramid Turtle is really good. Against matchups where they have maybe Royal Oppression face up, you want your Pyramid Turtle to turn into a threat. Your opponent can't activate Royal Oppression during the damage step, so being able to like crash a Pyramid Turtle and get a 2400 monster and all of a sudden command a board with an active Royal Oppression is really big. Exile Force and Injection Fairy Lily are just tech options that you can get off of Giant Rat, but honestly, these could be different cards. These could be like more Goblin Zombie, more engine cards that you could get. It doesn't necessarily have to be these two. I'm just playing them because they're fun. Exile Force does have a little synergy with Zombie World being like a repeatable removal spell with Book of Life and Zombie Master, but it's really getting super cute, so if you're looking at this deck, this is kind of it. Instant Fusion, Emergency Teleport. I think these cards also work well at turning on your creature swap. In the sideboard, I've included 2 copies of Asura Priest for decks that summon a lot of tokens. They also combo with your creature swaps, which is nice. It allows you to keep in your creature swaps against stuff like Quick Draw. Because honestly, creature swap is pretty good in just about every matchup, provided you can clear the stupid creatures that get in your way. We've got a couple copies of Legendary Jiu-Jitsu Master for the aggro matchups. This isn't the best card against Ancient Gear specifically, but it is good against like Glads and Blackwing, so I have it here. Got 3 copies of Zombie World for the Monarch decks, and we are actually pretty low on Caius ourselves, so we can easily side that out and side in the Zombie Worlds and other cards when we are converting to the Monarch post-board plan. Let's go ahead and check out the match. Hopefully we'll get one of the meta decks so we can kind of see how this deck does well against that sort of thing. Make sure and like and subscribe, become a member if you want those sick emotes, and sign up for the RBET Series tournament. We've got a game versus NEMO. Good luck, have fun, NEMO. Win the RPS. Very lucky way to start off our day. Hand looks a little bit sus. Sangan, kind of a nice one here. No cap. We could make a turn 1 synchro monster. I don't hate that. But I think we are just going to set, pass. Maybe preserve our emergency teleport. Next turn we can spend our normal summon on commander if they just set a monster. Ooh, this is good. This is good. This is kind of exactly the type of deck we wanted to face off against. I gotta think if we want to book here on the attack. I think we do. The reason being is if it's face down, they can't tribute it for Gemini Spark. Okay, so we baited the Gemini Spark. We're going to get a search here. We're going to be able to search for our, I want to say, Pyramid Turtle? It could be Pyramid Turtle. It could be anything in our deck. You know what? Let's get Pyramid Turtle. I think that's the best thing we can get. It could have been Goblin Zombie too, but this is a nice little 2 for 2 or 1 for 1 or whatever trade. And we get to clear their monster, which is ultimately the goal. They only have so many monsters in a deck like this, so our plan is going to be remove those monsters. Psychic Commander is actually a rather effective beat stick in this matchup. He trades with all of their guys, but he also dodges Bottomless Trap Hole, so I think I'm going to lead on the Commander and try to attack directly. This might run into a Deep Prison, but that's okay. I just want to clear the way for our Pyramid Turtle. Alright, nothing from the opponent. Nice. Oh, another thing, Hero Blast. It could bait a Hero Blast. Hero Blast is going to be annoying. We're going to have to figure out a way to remove that alias ASAP. I might even do something like aggressively go for a -1 synchro just to remove the alias. It doesn't appear as though they have Hero Blast because I think they probably would have used it on the commander. I could be wrong though. Here's the emergency call. This is going to get them Stratos, which is fine. Stratos can't attack over the commander though, which is nice. Nice for us, actually. Yep, and then they set a new card. Interesting. Okay, what's the move? We have a lot of plays. I guess we just try to remove the Battle Trap, and then we creature swap the Pyramid Turtle? Or do we creature swap the Pyramid? I think we creature swap the Pyramid Turtle first. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if they have anything for this. If the opponent's sets are stuff like Skill Drain and Royal Oppression and that sort of stuff, this is going to be really good for us. Let's start off by attacking with the Stratos. If they have Mirror Force here, oh well. Unfortunate. Ooh, no Mirror Force. Okay, this is very good. This means our Pyramid Turtle is going to get us the rest of our engine online. I think Pyramid Turtle is going to grab Goblin Zombie here. Goblin Zombie direct attack. Hopefully we mill a Miracle Fusion. That would be really nice for us. Gemini Lancer. Oh, we milled a water. We turned on their Miracle Fusions. We should do something about that. We should actually do something about that. I would like to proc a Royal Oppression. So I'm going to synchro with Psychic Commander and Goblin Zombie in the main phase 2. And I'm going to try to make Ancient Fairy Dragon. And then from here, I'm going to activate the effect of Goblin Zombie. Goblin Zombie is going to grab us. It can't grab another Pyramid Turtle, which is unfortunate. But it can grab Zombie Master or Mizuki. I like Mizuki because it's something we can turn on our other creature swap with. Okay, here we're going to try for the Book of Life. We're going to target the Gemini Lancer. I'm going to target Lancer and Turtle. It's nice that we got our little combo off. Did I forget to attack with Stratos? Oh, no, I did. I didn't. We're good. All right, and then here I think we can set the return. It's super annoying if they have Gemini Spark, but hey, whatever. They've got to have it, right? Because their sets haven't been doing anything. That's the only thing that really makes sense. They set a monster. Why would they set a monster? What does that deck set? Snowman Eater? Oh, it's got to be Snowman Eater. The last card in hand is Alias. Like, what else could it be, right? Well, what's our plan for Alias? It's Card Trooper Crash, right? So I guess we'll just creature swap the Pyramid Turtle and go from there. If they have Hero Blast, they're going to have to pick off our Pyramid Turtle here. In which case, we can just give them Stratos and then summon Card Trooper and run it over. Yeah, there's the Hero Blast, which is totally fine. Let's see what they have. They have Snowman Eater. We could just wait here, which I don't hate. Yeah, I think we'll just wait. Because what are they going to do about Snowman Eater, right? They have to actually do something about it. Snowman Eater is really good against this deck. Oh my god, what a draw. What a draw, especially with the return set. Alright, let's go for it. Let's go for it. I'm feeling frisky. Feeling like we can get a lot of value here. Oh, we missed. Oh, that sucks. Lame. Oh, I got a little too greedy, didn't I? Well, at least we can remove the Elemental Hero Stratos and start poking them for big damage. Let's go 1800 first, and then E-Telly in the battle phase to try and lethal them. This will get us our Krebins. Krebins will attack directly. 1200. Oh, they have nothing. They really just have nothing. Are they just dead? Well, they had another bottomless. Okay. Okay. They had another bottomless. All right. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Now, what's the move? They're at 1100. I could make Mistworm, but that doesn't really do anything. I think we can make yugioh. That's not the worst. Oh, yeah, and it keeps him off of using Miracle Fusion in the main phase 1. So, that's not too bad for us. I think we will make yugioh. Yugioh's pretty good here. No cap. This one might be slipping out of our control, though. I think we might have played a little too aggressively with the resources. We could have sat back on Snowman Eater. This is for sure telegraphing a Miracle Fusion. We're going to see that 1000% here. I'm like pretty certain they might have a Starlight Road and a Royal Oppression. Or some kind of Floodgate. We do not have the DD Crow, so this is not going to have the desired effect. 0 in defense. Smart move, smart move. Alright. That's going to be a lethal threat if we can get this 900 points in over the Alias. I am going to try to attack over the Alias here. It's high risk, but yep. Okay. Okay, perfect. We want the Alias in our field. This is giving us a little insulation as well. And then we'll also set Mizuki. Next turn, we can lethal them. If we attack over Absolute Zero with yugioh Guardian, and then either Card Trooper or Caius will be lethal. Oh, we could guarantee it, actually. We could guarantee it by waiting another turn. I don't hate that. They might have Solemn. Nah, what are the chances? Let's set our Solemn, and let's wait another turn. I don't think we need to get too aggressive. Oh, they had Typhon. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We were still in the same position as last turn. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. If they have Skill Drain Miracle Fusion, it's better for us to wait. But what are we even waiting for? Because if they have Road, then, like, our Storm is, like, not going to clear anything. I think we can go for the Caius target itself main 1. I think that's the best play. Nice! Let's go! Let's go! I don't know why I was even thinking about Skill Drain. They're at 200 life points. I'm I'm wacky. I'm not smart here today. But you know what? We're out here. Yo, do we side in Royal Oppression against this deck? That'd be fucking mean. No cap. That'd be super mean. There's a lot of interesting cards in this matchup. I'm not sure what we're going to keep in and what we're going to cut. We might be siding in the Royal Oppressions here just for Miracle Fusion. That card's big annoying. I don't think Injection Fairy is what we want. Maybe we keep all the monsters. Maybe we side out a Book of Life because we're siding in the Royal Oppressions. We side out like Instant Fusion because of Royal Oppression. Maybe we side out Call. And then we'll side out like... I don't think Trag is that good in this matchup. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's alright. Returns seem nice. They have a lot of ways to banish our stuff. Our stuff for sure gets banished that way. Let's look at this. Like, let's say we don't bring in the Oppressions. Or we bring in one Oppression. And like, maybe not the Mind Crush. But we still need to side out another card. We could side out the Maliciouses. No, they're good. I don't really want to touch the main engine too much. Maybe it's Zombie Master? Oh, I'm going to miss that Zombie Master. I can already tell. Yeah, we're going second. We're not going to bring in the Mind Crusher. If we were going first, we'd bring it in. But I'm going to side out the Zombie Master just because we're bringing in the Royal Oppression and we're bringing in, like they have a really good matchup against that card. All their cards attack over it, and they play Skill Drain, they play Hero Blast, they play whatever. So I just think if I'm playing Zombie Master, then I'm not doing so hot. All right, so we drew Heavy Storm. The question is, do we go for it? I don't think we have to. I legit don't think we have to. I think I'm just going to set Pyramid Turtle and Creature Swap. I think that's the plan. Or maybe I crash Pyramid Turtle, summon Trigodia. No, I need Pyramid Turtle to get in the grave for Book of Life. Let's set Pyramid Turtle, and then we'll go for the Creature Swap. They summoned Thunder King for us, which is kind of funny. Because this card is very good against them. Now all their E-Calls and their Rhoda and their Stratos are turned off. Opponent probably thinking here if they want to Solemn. I think that long think made them realize they probably have Solemn. Or made me realize that they probably have Solemn. So I might be more inclined to Heavy Storm later, but I think I'm just going to keep holding it. Make our Trag more of a threat. Pyramid Turtle is going to get... This time, we're going to go for the big boys. We're going to grab Red Eyes Zombie Dragon. Turn up the jets a little bit. I will attack directly. If we get hit with Mirror Force, okay. Okay, so be it. So be it. This is a big lad. I like this card a lot. The artwork is cool. The blue smoke with like the contrasted red. Okay, there's a Deep Prison. There's a Deep Prison. So that means it's a good thing we didn't crash our turtle, because we would have lost our turtle to the Deep Prison for sure. We're not going to set anything. Again, we just want to kind of make sure our Heavy Storm is as good as possible. And then we also want to make sure our Trigodia is as good as possible. Set monster? What is that? Well, they couldn't answer the first creature swap, so they probably can't answer the second one if I'm going to keep it a stack. We'll set Giant Rat, and then we'll activate our creature swap. Our opponent probably very upset by now because we drew double creature swap both games against them. Wow. Sorry, Nemo. Sorry, buddy. That's gonna be a little bit of a concession from our opponent. Hey, that's the power of this deck. This deck does really well against like hero Blackwing type strategies, where they have like an anchor monster and not much else, like a ton of traps. I think this deck does really well against those decks. Of course, against Blackwings, they can chain Icarus to their stuff, which you kind of have to be careful of. But as long as you play around that, like, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. Anyway, make sure and join the Discord in the description below. RBET Series 1 starts tomorrow. Sign-ups are now live. Smash like, subscribe, become a member if you want to. It really helps out. Much love. E3 Yu-Gi-Oh! Signing off. Peace out, everyone.